All right, on this flight, we're going to do as promised. We're going to take the flight controller boards on here. We're going to flip them around and see if we still get the same results with the MPU6000 performance over the ICM20602 gyros. So again, the 2602s now will be on the bottom. The MPU6000 gyro will now be on the top. The top board's now going to be flying it, so the same board's flying the craft. It's just the position of the gyros in the stack. So let's see what we get. Alrighty. Hopefully this is uneventful, since it's all kinds of snow here. Alright, seems alright. Oh, winter wonderland. I think it's like 30-some degrees. So this battery is struggling, plus it's an old battery. It's the first time I've seen the sun in a couple days. I hate the winter. I've been trying to get people to follow and move to Flagstaff. It gets cold there, but I like the cold. I don't mind the cold so much. Allows for skiing and sledding with the kids and just kind of a change of scenery. But clouds get to me. So clouds and rain. So, but I guess the downside of Flagstaff is that there's not a lot of lakes and rivers and whatnot, but you go up to the Grand Canyon. So yeah, if I can get my family to move, that'll be good. My job, I could probably get anywhere. My wife's is a little different. She works at a school, so it's not, most jobs aren't easy to come by. Battery voltage, 12 something. What's she cruising at? 14 volts. Let's bring her in. I got enough data. Alright, how can I land this sucker? Right there. Alright, good enough. Got the data we need. Let's check it out. Didn't crash in the snow. That's a plus. Alright, so let's pull up some data and see what we got. So what we have here is I grabbed 2 log files. And you can see here the CL Racing board, which has the 2 ICM20602 chips on it, is on the bottom. And then the JHFM board, which has the MPU6000 and the ICM20602, is on the top. So what we can do is easily just compare these real quick just by pulling them into PID Toolbox and taking a look. And what you're seeing here now is each one of these columns is one of the gyros. So this is the ICM20602 from the top board, which is the JHFM board. This is the MPU6000. Then this is the bottom board now, and this is the ICM20602. Again, ICM20602, since there's 2 of them on here. This is the roll axis going across here, and this is the pitch axis going across here. So let me make myself a little smaller there. So you can see on here that the MPU6000 is ultimately, you know, this white area, the more red it shows, or the white area that you're seeing on there, the less of that, the better. And you can see out of all the chips here, even the onboard ICM20682, that the MPU6000 was outperforming all of them. It's kind of interesting because all the ICM boards start to show this this middle oscillation that's just darker. And it's kind of here at the 40 to 50% throttle. It's kind of interesting because as the ICM boards kind of came on the market, is that really when people started having mid-throttle oscillations more and more? Because the MPUs don't show that amount of vibration here down underneath the motor band, where you can see all the ICM chips here, the ones on the JH board and also the ones on the CL Racing board have this kind of this band that's underneath the throttle band when you're right around 40 to 60% throttle. You can see it, it's not so bad on this one here, but you can see it on this one as well. So what we can also pull up is the test from before where we had the boards the opposite direction. Now, when we're looking at this data here, the JH board is going to be shown here. So I always showed the master in the A slot and then the slave in the B slot. So it's going to have the same, you know, this is going to be the ICM20602, the MPU6000, ICM20602, and then another ICM20602. So it's the same orientation for them both. Let me see if I can get this lined up the best I can here. So let's just check this out. And you can see now this is the original test we did, and this is the other test. So now this is the test that I just ran. This is with the JH board on top. This is the test we just ran. This is with the JH board where it was on the bottom. And you can kind of see the differences. As it was on top, a little bit more noise was read from the ICM20602 chip, but the MPU6000, a little bit more, well, yeah, a little bit more noise was read there as well. Well, not on the roll axis. This was actually higher on the roll axis, for the peak at least. Ambient was a little higher here as well. Ambient was a little higher here as well. So there's a margin of error in between the two, but you can see the test results between there. So let's just roll over to the CL Racing board. So now again, this is with the CL Racing board when it was on top. This is with the CL Racing board when it was on the bottom. And let's just kind of peer back the differences there. You can see when it was on the top, it looks like it had a little bit more noise. Again, it was reading in the plots. It looks like, again, the ambient, like statistically though, yeah, it had a little bit more here. Here it had a little bit more. Now here it had a little bit less on the peak, and a little bit more on the ambient. So you can see this mean noise level. See, this is kind of statistical numbers versus us just looking at the graphs. And then here it had a little bit more ambient, but a little bit less peak. So yeah, I mean, you can kind of go, and obviously these are two different flights as well. So it's not really, you know, your margin of error is going to be wider. Before, when we're looking at each individual plot, like this plot versus, and all the data within this plot itself versus all the data within this plot itself, this is the exact same flight. Where now we're kind of comparing, you know, top versus bottom, but it's not actually the same flight. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt, I would say. But I think the takeaway that I'm seeing on here is that either case, with the MPU6000 board on top or on bottom within the stack, the MPU6000 chip was, in this test, just outperforming any of the ICM chips on the test rig. So that's the conclusion I'm getting. Let me know your thoughts and experiences down in the chat. As always, thanks everybody for your support, and we'll see you on the next one.